equipment, and other fun things and places. Before we get started, hit like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Ding! Today, we have lots of surprises.
Well, thank you for that amazing introduction, Miraculous Girl, and thank you everyone for joining us here on Exploring It All. So today we are doing part 4 of our Through the Looking Glass series, and today we are featuring the Explorer. Now, as you can see, I have 4 different knives out here. Each one of these are a little different than the other, and we're going to kind of take a look. I have these laid out, I already know, oldest to the newest, and we'll go over each one of the tool sets as we go. Although in areas where the tool sets are completely the same, I'm only gonna review one. So we're gonna start off with this one here, and I'll even tell you guys why it's oldest to newest on this. Now, first of all, let's start off with the main 3 things here, the scale tools. So first up, we have the famous Victorinox tweezers. And on the opposite side, we have the toothpick. So that is your first main thing. And each one of these has the tweezers and toothpick, and they are essentially all the same. There's no special variation. I'm going to add right here the Explorer, also, as with the Through the Looking Glass series, they have the magnifying glass, which came out in 1973, and that is when the Explorer was first produced. According to SACWiki, is 1973 they started producing the Explorer. So next up we have our key ring. Now this particular key ring here is in the liner, and this liner placement was from 1968 until 1991, according to my research. And then after 91, which puts this knife pre-91, after 91, it became part of the spring version. It's much thicker. So you can see that this is part of the liner version. And then after that, it became part of the spring version, where it's much thicker. It's part of the layer itself. And so these are all in their place there. All right, so after that, let's go with our back scale tools. Now, on this first one here, the older one, we have the corkscrew. Now this, and it's kind of worn, but you can tell it is a fluted corkscrew. It's still a 4-ton corkscrew, but this and the fluted corkscrew ran from 73 to 91. So same with the when they changed the corkscrew and took the fluting out, they also changed the ring, it appears. So this one has the fluting. I've never discovered anyone. This one is solid. I've never discovered anything that has anything about when that was, why the fluting was there, if it served a purpose or not. You will notice that this particular model does have the pinhole, the small pin, and the straight pin also, I believe, started in 91. And all of these other models here have the straight pin. This one actually has the screwdriver installed. I probably put that in there, and a straight pin, or I may not have. So you do have the straight pin, and this one also has a straight pin and a screwdriver. The 2 newer ones do. And we'll focus on that real quick. These are the most current corkscrew or eyeglass screwdriver. You have the mini eyeglass screwdriver, and these are the cut version. So this is the most current version of that. And the mini eyeglass driver started in, it says 2009. Actually, no, it started in 83, but in 2009, this is a 2009 version of it. And this is the same. And then we also have a straight pin in here. It's a stainless steel pin. I don't know what number it is, but you do have the straight pin. Now, there is a plus scale version of the Explorer. I don't have one of those to show you. That would also include the writing pin as well in that on the scale tools. All right, so next up in our scale tools, we have the reamer awl. Now, this one has no eye hole. And that means this one is between 61 and 85. So we know this knife is a pre-85 knife. The other versions here all have the later awl that has the eye hole in the awl there, the sewing eye. All right, so and the sewing eye in the reamer is basically from 1985 on. I don't believe there was any changes in that. Now, on the back scale, this one does not have the hook. This one does have the hook. Okay, so this next one here, it does have the hook. And all the ones after now, this is just your standard hook. And the hook started after 91, much like I said, the pinhole. These will all have the hook. There is a version of the hook that, this one has some stuff on it. There is a version of the hook, and the hook is one of the only tools that actually goes back a little further. There is a version of the hook, though, that has a file on the back of it. I don't understand why they wouldn't put that on all of them, since they have it that way, but they don't. So now going to our main tools, next up we have the cap lifter. Now you'll notice this cap lifter, this one is has no 90-degree stop, and that means it's between 1980 and 1985. And that's about as close as we're going to get to dating this one, between 1980 and 1985. But there's no 90-degree stop. You don't have the wire stripper. Prior to 1980, you had a cut edge in here for the wire stripper. Now, this is also kind of considered a wire stripper, wire bender right down here, but you don't have the cut edge inside here. And then you have a slotted screwdriver on the tip here. So that, now the next one up here has that 90-degree stop. So, and all the rest of these are also going to all have the 90-degree stop because they're all after 91. Next up, after the cap lifter, we have the can opener. And the can opener is the same from 1980 up. According to my research, I like the can opener. It does have a micro tip screwdriver on it. I've always been a fan of it, and I use the one on my Ranger grip in my kitchen regularly. It works better than my automatic one. So that the cap lifter is going to be the same on every, or I'm sorry, the can opener is going to be the same on every model. There's no changes in that. So next up we have our large blade. At least next up in the order I'm doing it. So we have our large blade. Based off the Tang stamp on this one, it dated it between 76 and 86. You have the plus the shield, the crossbow, and the cross are touching, and then there's the Officer Swiss on this side, and a different size, the smaller V or on the Tang stamp on this one. And then on the next blades, and the large blade is always the same. I dated this tank stamp between 92 and 2005. This one actually has some etching on it, imprinting on it. It says it's stolen. I bought it on eBay. I didn't steal it. But it says new trick, connecting the world. So, the tank stamp, and then the tank stamp on the last two. Oh, I take that back. This one was 2009 to 2011. And then this one was 2011 to current, which is what makes these two a little bit different here later on. All right, so next up we have the small blade. The small blade is essentially the same on all three knives. There's no tank stamps on it. It's a smaller version of the large blade. I'm fairly close. And it's been the same since 1973. In 1973, they went away from the clip point. And then next up, we have the scissors. Now, on the older one here, it's the double spring. There's no groove in here for the spring, but it is double spring, and it is a screw in here and not a rivet. And this particular set of scissors, I believe, ran from 75 to 90. And then, as you can see, this next one up here is not a screw in the scissor. And it does have the groove. And then, that one ran until 2000, and then 2000 up, the one handle got a little bit thinner in there. So there is a variation there. It's really hard to tell that though. So that's the scissors. So next up we have the inline Phillips screwdriver. On this first one, you will see this, it has a 90-degree stop, and they all do. Now, there's two different versions here of this inline Phillips screwdriver, and that's the main noticeable difference. Supposedly, the longer one's still made, but I don't think it is. When they made the LED light, they had to shorten the Phillips screwdriver to make it fit in there right. And then they just began changing it out. And so now you have a shorter inline Phillips screwdriver in the current models. So that's one difference in the Phillips screwdriver. It still has a 90-degree stop, but the two older ones both have the longer Phillips screwdriver. And now, to our final item, and the reason for the series are magnifying glass. Now, the gray housing magnifying glass are an 8 times magnification, and our two older ones here both have that 8 times magnification. Now, a big difference between this one, no, they're the same size. A big difference between these two and this one is they went to a plastic one, and they went to the plastic magnifying glass from 2004 to 2012. And they also dropped the magnification down to 5 times instead of 8 times. Now, there's a change on this one too, and this one is our model that is 2012 and older, based off the tank stamps. And that is, they switched out the plastic magnifying glass to a glass one. They went back to glass, and you can almost tell. And also it increased the magnification, And that's really where I noticed it at. But I had to do some real comparisons on it. This went to a 6 times magnification instead of the 5 times magnification. So it kind of boosted it back up. In here, at the end of this video, I'm going to also insert a little demonstration of me starting a fire using some char cloth and some jute twine using the Victorinox magnifying glass. And it was actually rather easy and quick to do here in the Southern California sun under ideal conditions. Alright guys, so here's what we're going to do today. I have been doing this through the Looking Glass series where we've been looking at the Victorinox Swiss Army knives with the magnifying glass. I have here the Explorer, and this is one of the older 8 times magnification magnifying glasses. I have a piece of char cloth that I actually made in a small tin with some old, I think I used blue jeans. And then I have some jute twine. It's not waxed or anything, just regular jute from this. Now, what I'm going to do here, and then I have this Uberleben triangle here, wood thing that I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the magnifying glass to get this an ember going on this char cloth. I have to excuse the ants here. And then transfer that into this jute twine, and then set our little thing on fire here. So I may speed up if it takes too terribly long to get this going, but I don't think it will. So we'll just get this going here on the edge. You just want to get your center here down. I already see a piece glowing. It's already starting. Now, this is obviously ideal conditions. I'm here in Central California. It's about 75 degrees outside. It's not excessively hot. Appears that this is already kind of going. It's a nice ember in there. There we go. See if this little piece of that jute went up really fast. See if we get our little Uberleben triangle going here. There we go. I thought that was just cool. So I'll probably be using this clip in a few of our videos. You know, I don't know how people could survive in the woods without this for the last 30 years. Actually, this Swiss Army knife is over 30 years old. You'll have to excuse all of the background noise as this burns. As I said, I'm here in the wild suburbans of California for a little bit longer anyway. So, I don't know how long this video ran. I'm going to insert this in. I may trim it down a little bit, or may have trimmed it down a little bit. We'll see. I don't really think it took that long though. Maybe less than a couple of minutes, really. But anyway, there you go. Starting a fire with a Swiss Army knife. Thank you for watching. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, and remember, be nice to each other. And part 5 should be coming up soon.